Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. I thought I might jump on here and talk about some board games that I love that might help you with your kids. I don't know if any parents right now are struggling. Maybe you want to get your kids off Fortnite or you want to get your kids off Minecraft. And my kids have been playing a ton of that. And so Animal Crossing, all those things are great. But there are a few times where I want to get my kids around the table and play some board games. And so today I thought I'd jump online, do a little live stream, and talk about this. So if you're watching with me today, I would love to know it. Because Facebook Live does this silly little thing where I have no clue if anybody's even on right now or listening. And so, hey, what's up, Jesse? How are you, man? There we go. We got a quack going. So good deal. But I thought I would jump on here today and just talk about, I got a whole stack of games over here. And I thought that I would talk to you today about some games that are not Monopoly. Now, here's the thing. I'm actually going to show you a Monopoly game today. So I'm not against Monopoly. But as a parent, a lot of times that's really all you have on the shelf. Might mean Monopoly or Life, things like that. And so I thought that it would be fun to, do some examples of other games that you could play with your kids. And all of these, I think all of these are available on Amazon Prime. So, and I don't know, 4 or 5 days now. It's not 2 day shipping anymore, but in a few days, you'd be able to get some of these and play along. And so I thought that I would just show you some of my favorite games, try to answer any questions that you might have about these games, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to try to not mess this thing up. So what's up, AJ? What's up? How are you, man? Michael? Yes, Monopoly is a staple in most households. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with Monopoly, but if you've played that out, or maybe you have some negative feelings towards Monopoly, there might be some people out there that have some negative feelings towards it. I want to show you a few other options that you could do. And some of these are out there, crazy things. Some of these are going to feel like a typical board game for you that you might be used to. So let me just dive in and show you a few of my favorite, and we'll kind of get going. So the first one that I want to show you is, what do I want to do? This one is called King Domino. So I thought that this would be a great one to point out to you because this one is very easy to get online. It's relatively inexpensive. And if you've ever played dominoes before, then this will seem very similar. And so let me show you, I'm going to try to do some other views of the game, but this is what the game looks like. So you'll be able to find this online somewhere, probably Amazon, or if you have a local game store somewhere like that, you should be able to get it. But the basic premise of the game is that you are going to be drawing these tiles. Let me take it out for a second and I'll show you. What's up, Steven? Man, it's good to see you or hear from you, man. Yeah, I got a lot of options for you on some games. So, but King Domino, this is actually 2 copies of the game I've crammed into one box. But it's literally just like dominoes, but instead of numbers, it's all terrain types. And as the game progresses, you are just going to be trying to match up terrain types alongside each other and trying to score points. But basically, you're going to make this little grid. I'm not going to try to explain all of these today because that might be pretty complicated. But basically, this is a really easy to learn game that if maybe you're into the homeschool thing right now and you're trying to teach your kids how to multiply, this is how it all works. Because at the end of the game, once you've built your little kingdom, King Domino, you're going to multiply a certain terrain type times the number of crowns that they have. And that's it. And so you just add up your points. Whoever has the most wins. It's got this really cool mechanism on how you draft tiles and who gets what tiles. It's pretty cool. And so if you've never heard of King Domino, take a look. I believe we might even have a video review of this one on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out, Board Game Closet. So anyways, there you go, that one. Next one is one called iSchool. This is a dexterity game, which basically means you are going to be flicking things around the board. So a couple really cool things about this game is that it's got boxes inside of boxes. And so it kind of comes out like this, and so you end up setting it up in a certain pattern. And then this is the coolest. The best part about this game is you have these little penguins that you flick around the board. And so literally you'll put this guy in. This one actually shows great on this down view. But basically you have this little guy and you're going to flick him around. And the point is you're trying to get him to go through these little doors on the thing. And then you're going to be collecting fish. And when you do, then you get a card at the end of the round. Whoever has the most points wins the game. But the coolest part about this is the flicking. It is just so much fun. And you can actually, if you get good at it, you can actually flick this guy and he will jump over walls. And so that is the ultimate experience. If you have kids, they absolutely love that. And so you just play this thing where somebody is the catcher, kind of like a dog catcher, the penguin catcher, and so they are going around the room trying to hit you, and if they hit you, then you're out of the round, and then you're trying to stay away from the penguin catcher and collect all of your fish. It's really, really cool. It's a really, really smart design. And there are two versions of the game. There's iSchool and iSchool 2. It doesn't really matter which version you get. I don't recommend people having both because there's not enough. The only reason I would recommend you have iSchool and iSchool 2 is if you wanted to have a massive game around the table, just huge boxes everywhere. And to be honest with you, I've never really had it's a great game, but I've never needed both boxes. I guess one is enough. Get that and you'll like it. It's called iSchool 2 or iSchool. There we go. We're cruising along. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. What I think I might do after this is over is drop some links so you could go directly and buy these games if you want. And then it would thrill me to no end to know if you bought some of these and then you had a game night with your kids or friends or whoever you're quarantined with, and if it works out good for you, I would love to know that. So there you go. Okay, next one. This is a one for smaller kids. It's called Top That. This is a fun little game, and I'm embarrassed, but I'm going to open this box up and it's going to be a wreck. But oh, it's not that bad. But this is a cool little game of order. And the way that it works is you'll flip over a card and it will tell you something. It'll say, well, that's kind of a bad example. Okay. Well, I can't remember how to play the game now. But anyways, you have this card that you flip over, and it will tell you what items, the colored items are the ones that you need to see, and the grayed out items are the ones that you can't see. So everybody has these cool little tokens. It's a rabbit and all of these pieces that are like this. And the idea would be that you could stack them up on top of each other. And basically the thing is trying to tell you what order they need to go in. And so it's just a cool little fun game where you look at the card and then very quickly you have to figure out what order that they go in, right? And so you're like, oh, okay, well, that says that I can't see this orange thing, so where can I put the orange thing? And oh, it's got to go in here, and then I'm going to put that on top of there, and then this goes on top of that, and then that, and you're like, I did it, I'm done. And so it's a fast-paced, energetic game that my youngest son, Seth, loves. And he is 6 years old. Joel is 9, and he does not like this game. So there's definitely an age range there where they really like and they get into that competition, but much too younger from this, and the dexterity gets in the way. They're knocking things over. They get frustrated. They don't see it as fast. So me as the parent, what I do is a lot of times I'll only use one hand, or I'll give them a few second head start, and then it keeps it competitive for us. And so, but that's a fun little quick little game there. So Top That. Any questions, comments, concerns? Also, I would say if you have any suggestions on games that just work out great for you and your family, put those in the comments. I would love to know, because I just went around my game room and grabbed stuff off the shelf that I thought would be fun to talk about. Here's one. This is a lesser known game, and it is called Cheese Quest. Lesser known as in, like, this is not like a Monopoly or Life, but this is a game that was kickstarted. This guy named Phil came up with this idea. Yeah, Phil, and sent this game to me to check out, and they backed it, or they did a little Kickstarter campaign. It was funded, and it's just a cool little game. I love the artwork on it, and the basic premise is that you are a mouse trying to make your way through this terrain, avoid the cats, and get the cheese and bring it back. And it's just a really cool game. It's got the cheese wheels, I guess, and then it's got your little cat people that are going to be coming after you. And the only thing I wish that it had was actual mice meeples instead of these little circle tokens, but that's okay. But other than that, it's really cool. It's simple gameplay. Basically, you're just going to move and try to do something. There are traps that you're going to try to undo, but then you have these cards that will allow you to do certain things in the game. And so, like, this is a bag of catnip. Swap the position of your mouse with any cat on the same tile. And so there's things that you can do to try to avoid the cats, get your cheese, and get out of there. This one I think is on Amazon too. So this is a fun one. So if you like the theme, if you like cats and chasing them and chasing the mice and all that kind of stuff, I love that it's got variable setup. So these tiles are two-sided, and then every game is going to be a little different because they're could be placed out completely different. It's just a cool little game. So check it out, Cheese Quest. There you go. The quest for cheese. Cheese Quest. Let me show you a game, Star Wars, if I got any Star Wars fans out there. This one actually does really well, and this is, this sounds awful, but this is how we do the game, is I don't have any kind of fancy containers for this. It's in a Ziploc bag, cards and dice. This is called Star Wars Destiny, and it is just a very simple game of dice and trying to fight. And so basically you get to be characters that you probably know of from all of the movies. Like this is I think I've got Kylo Ren and Rey, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but Rey in here. And so it's a really cool game because basically all that you do on your turn is you're going to be drawing cards, and you'll be able to put out characters that are then going to fight for you. And then you roll these dice, and these dice give you abilities that then you trigger and you attack your opponent. So it's a back and forth, trying to knock out your opponents. And the reason that I like this game, my youngest son, Seth, couldn't play this because there is a lot of text on the cards, but my older son loves it. And so we played a bunch of this Thanksgiving, and it's actually relatively inexpensive to get in on right now because they discontinued the game. And so, well, I won't say that. They basically said they're not making any new content for it. And so you can pick up these things pretty cheap now. They have starter decks for it. This is a collectible game. So you could buy these little packs, kind of like baseball cards, go to the store, buy a pack, and then get your special cards and dice out of it. Or you can just go on eBay, and people are selling entire collections of this. So if you're into the collectible thing, if you're into rolling dice and attacking your opponent and, playing cards. And so it's got this cool thing in it where like you'll play a card and combo type thing. So I don't know if you've done any card games like that before, but it's really neat the way that it works. And so you might pick it up, and all of the hardcore gamers are cringing right now that I'm keeping this in a Ziploc bag, but anyways, it works. Michael says Karuba is a great family game. I don't own that one, but that is a really good family game, so check that out. Here is a game that would work great for you, even if you don't have kids. This is just a family weight game called Azul. It's got these cool tiles in it. Let me show you what this thing looks like. This is a incredibly popular game, sold tons and tons of these games. But basically, it is a tile collecting game. You're going to collect tiles, put them here, and then move them over here to score points. And so it comes with these really cool tiles that are like this. I mean, they kind of look like Starburst. These look like Starburst to me. Basically, you're going to be drafting these tiles. They're all going to go out on these little displays, and you're going to take them and then move them over to this and score points. And it goes on round after round after round. There's about 5 rounds, usually 5 or 6 rounds, and then you're going to be scoring points off of moving them over. Now, this is a terribly bad explanation of the game, but this is a huge win for the family. Everybody that I've played this game with absolutely loves it, and they have sold, I don't know how many copies of this game, and they are amazing. And so there's 3 different versions of this game, but I would recommend, especially if you're not into board gaming a lot, new modern board games, I would definitely recommend starting with this version of the game and then going to the other ones. But Azul is a great game that even my kids love. So I play this with my 6-year-old. I play this with my 9-year-old. I play this with my in-laws and my wife, and everybody loves it, every age. So there's enough strategy in there that you don't feel like you're playing a kid's game, and you're not. This is not made for kids. This is just a regular game. But I can play this with my kids and they can get the strategy and play along with me. And so that's a really, really good game. So if you're looking for something to play, this is the kind of game that you play once and say, hey, let's do this again. And anyway, so check it out, Azul. I think that you'll really, really like it. And I'm going to see if I can catch up to any of these comments here. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Next up is one that is a fun game for the kids. We love this one so much. It's called Ghost Fightin' Treasure Hunters. And this is a cool little game where you are, let me flip it over to the inside or the back. Maybe that would help you see. But this is just a fun little game where you are trying to make your way through this house, and you're trying to get these little tokens out. And this is a cooperative game, which was, when I first got into board games, I didn't even know what cooperative games were, but it blew my mind the first time that I realized that there is a type of game where you get to work together. And so there's no you beat me or I beat you for the 50th time. This is a we work together to try to win this game. And so we either win the game together or we lose the game together. And so that's one of the reasons why I love this game so much, especially for kids, is it teaches us to work together and strategize together. So the basic idea is we have to go into this house, get the treasure out, and leave before all these ghosts take over. And so it's just a neat little lighthearted game, and you get to see how things ramp up in the game. And so you flip these cards over, and then the ghosts start to take over more and more, and you're like, oh no, we're gonna lose. You need to go there, and I need to go here, and okay, you grab the treasure, and then I'm gonna run out the door. And there's just a lot of that kind of stuff that goes with it. And yeah, AJ said Ghost Fighting is one of their favorite kids games, and it is just great. There's an expansion to it, which I don't own yet, and I don't know if I'm going to buy it because this is just enough for us. This scratches that itch of co-op, going in, getting the stuff, and getting out. And there's a little bit of dice rolling in it, so you have to roll the dice to see if you defeat the ghost. And so the kids cheer when that happens, and then they boo when they don't do it. And so it's got that little bit of up and down, back and forth tension. It's just a lot of fun, and my kids really love it. And I picked it up relatively cheap online, so I don't think that that's an expensive one. Let's talk about another one that involves dice, and this is called King of Tokyo. This is a great, great game. Here's another one where I ditched the insert and just threw everything into the box. But this is a game where you get to be one of these monsters, and you are fighting over Tokyo. And the way that it works is there's a board, and you can either be inside Tokyo or outside Tokyo. And basically on your turn, it's kind of like King of the Hill, and you are this king trying to fight. And so if you're in the city, you're fighting everybody else. But if you're outside of the city, then you're fighting whoever's in the city. And so it's got these really cool chunky dice. These things are amazing. And it's got these cool little chunky dice. And on your turn, you're going to roll them. And then you get to pick what you want to keep. So I'm going to keep these 2 claws that would, we call them scratches. You attack your opponent. I don't know what everybody else calls them. And then you're going to say, okay, I want to roll again. And you see what you get. You know, I'm going to try to keep these 2s and see if I can get another 2. Hey, I did it. That's awesome. And so here's how my turn ended up. So I'm going to attack somebody for 2 points. I'm going to get 2 victory points, and I'm going to get an energy cube. And those little energy cubes let you buy these special upgrades that you can then use to do cool and amazing things in the game. And so there's all kinds of cool. This is all monster type abilities, and so you're going to be doing kind of cool things. And there's even ways to, like, there's a card in here where you can get an extra die to be able to, I think it's something like called Two-Headed Monster or something like that. And so now you have a die that nobody else has, and you get to roll it. And this is a fun game. There's all different kinds of monsters that you could be. This is an expansion pack that I have to the game. This one you can pick up at Barnes & Noble. You can pick up on Amazon, all over. I don't know if they sell this at Walmart yet or not, but it's a really, really popular game, and it's great. And I cannot get enough of these chunky, chunky dice. They're great. So my kids love it, and this is a great, just one of those games, again, where you're rolling dice, seeing what happens, you cheer, and then I've played this a ton with them. Sometimes I win, sometimes I don't, and that's okay, and we'll just play this a few times, and it's a really, really good one, wildly praised and loved, so you can buy that one with confidence. I got a few more. Are you sticking with me? I don't know if you fast forwarded through any of this, but we're just going to go through here. So here's a great game. Now, this might be hard in quarantine if you don't have a ton of people at your house because you need at least 3 people to play this game. But this is a word game, and it's my most favorite word game in years. And it's called Just One. We played this at a game night at the church the other night, and people loved it. And people said, well, where can I buy that? How can I go ahead and get this? So it's one of those games, as soon as you play it one time, you're going to love it. And so it comes with these little, I don't know what you call these, things that you write on. And then it comes with dry erase markers and a deck of cards. That's all that you get in the box. And so here's the quick explanation of how you play the game. Somebody who is going to be the guesser, they flip over a card, they don't look at it, and they say a number, like number 3, which is, for us, is fashion, but I didn't know that because I'm the guesser. And so I kind of put that out in front of me, and then everybody else has to think of a one-word clue to try to get me to guess fashion. So they write down their clue, whatever that is, runway, designer, I don't know what it might be. And so they write that down. Then I close my eyes or look away, and then everybody reveals their clues. If any of the clues match, like somebody else did designer or runway, then we lose that clue altogether. Nobody gets to show that clue to me. Then I turn around and I only get to guess based off of the words that didn't match. So I out of a group of 5 or 6 people, I might only get 3 clues. And then I look at their clues, and I have one chance to guess the word fashion. And if I get it right, we score the point. If I get it wrong, we lose 2 points. Or basically you're playing like 13 times, and so you'll lose one of the cards. And it does this whole thing at the end. If you got 7 or 8, you're average, but if you got 12, then you're incredible. And so this is, again, one of those games. It's cooperative. We're trying to do this together, but we created our own competitive version of this, where we actually play in groups. So we had a guys versus girls game one night, and that got incredibly competitive, where we were not going to let them beat us. And this is just one of those games that as soon as somebody plays it the first time, you don't really even have to explain this game. You just say, hey, let's try this real quick. Okay, here's the word, give me a clue. And then they play it one time. And once somebody is the guesser and they get it right, like, people cheer, they're excited, they clap. It's just so good. It's such a good one. And so this is great. And the reason that I bring this up is even my 6-year-old, it is so cool as a parent when my 6-year-old plays this game, because he sees the words, and we kind of have to work with him, make sure that he knows what the word is. So as a team, everybody's kind of thinking, yeah, I think he knows do you know what that word is, Seth? Yeah, okay. And once he knows what the word, it's so cool as a parent to see his creative mind write down these clues. And there have been times that the only reason we got it right was because of the 6-year-old. And so it's really, really cool. I just can't recommend this one enough. What's up, Blake? How are you, man? And good to see you. Thanks for jumping on here. And so that is just one. It's pretty cool. The next one is called Ticket to Ride First Journey. Now, this is a kid's version of a game called Ticket to Ride. And so Ticket to Ride is a wildly popular game. They've sold 1 million or something of these games. And so this is a kid's version of it. And I want to show you really quick a little bit of it, because it's just a cool looking game. It's just huge. It's got this massive board. If I can undo it. It's got this massive board that comes with it. And the basic idea is that you are trying to connect routes, train routes, where you might be trying to go from the white building over to the whale, or from the movie camera up to the Statue of Liberty. And so it does have the names of cities on it, but if you have smaller kids and they don't know those words, they don't even have to. They basically just have to know, I need to go from the losing football team down here all the way over to the Buffalo. And so it is it's a neat little game. And so basically all that you have to do to claim one of these routes is you just have to, I need 3 red cards to place my trains, and then I get that location. And so on their turn, the kids are just looking for, okay, I need 3 red cards. I just need 2 more of these. And so it's really easy to teach. And then you are racing to get 6 or 7 completed tickets. I can't remember how now. When somebody gets their 6th ticket, they win. And it's cool. My kids love it. Well, I take that back. Joel, not so much into it, but Seth loves this game. And so Joel is a little bit older, and so I actually think I'd give him the regular Ticket to Ride version. So Blake, yeah, if you've never played Ticket to Ride, some people have moved on in our board game hobby. A lot of people have moved on to other type games, but for me, I absolutely love this game. And then there's another version of Ticket to Ride. I don't see it right now, but there's a Ticket to Ride New York for adults, and I recommend that one as well. But anyways, if you're looking for a kids game, Ticket to Ride First Journey. I believe that this is on Amazon. I know that they had it at Target, so otherwise I don't think that you can get it like at Walmart or something like that. Maybe they do now, but anyways, so okay. A couple more. Let me show you the Monopoly game that I do recommend. This is Monopoly Gamer. I actually picked this up at GameStop, but they sell a different looking version. This is like a collector's version, but they sell another version of this just at Walmart, Target, Amazon for sure, called Monopoly Gamer. And if there is a Monopoly in my collection, this is the only version of Monopoly that I own. And so one, it's got Super Mario, which my kids love. I love. I'm a Mario fan. All the way back to Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo and Super Mario World on the SNES. And so that's just me. I love it. So this is a streamlined, faster version of the game. And so in regular Monopoly, you just play until you beat everybody down, and they give up because you've taken all their money and taken all their buildings. Well, in this one, you actually play the game where you can beat these bosses. And so the way that the game works, let me show you. Another destroyed box here. But one thing that's epic is it comes with all these really cool miniatures that come in the game. And so it's just got these cool little figures. And so you could play as a Mario and Luigi and Bowser and Donkey Kong and all of that. But then it's also got... let me see if I can get them all back in there. But this is just a cool version of the game. And then the regular version has cardboard coins, but this collector's edition has these cool plastic coins. But basically, the way that the game works, and it kind of makes it feel almost like Mario Kart instead of regular Mario, but you have these 2 dice that you roll, and one is for your movement, and one is some kind of special thing that you get to do. So what I like about that is on every round, I'm going to move, and I'm going to do something special. And so each person has a character card. And so, like for Donkey Kong here, if I rolled the star, if I rolled the POW symbol, then I get to do something special just for him. But on Luigi, if I rolled the red shell, then I'm going to get to do something like that. And it's all about money in the game too. So it will you can shoot the shell around the thing, and when you hit somebody, then they have to drop money down on the board. And then you use the money, of course, to buy the properties and all of that kind of stuff. So it still has the regular Monopoly stuff to it, where you are going to be able to play just like normal, collect the properties, get victory points. But every time you pass go, you're going to fight a boss. And so whoever fought the boss, whoever passed go, they get to try to fight the boss, and if they win, then they get some kind of a reward, and if they lose, then somebody else can jump in, and you can stack the deck. This is the cheating dad in me, is that how long the game is off of how many bosses you play. So you don't have to play all 8 levels. You could play 3 levels, and so you might just play a 30-minute game of this instead of a 3-hour game of Monopoly. And so I sound like I'm bashing Monopoly, but I've got a lot of those stories where I played and played and played, and so I really like the theme of this one with Super Mario, and then the way that it plays, all of that kind of stuff. It's really, really good, and I definitely recommend it. So yeah, Blake says they've got the collector's edition of Stranger Things Monopoly. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that. And then AJ says Monopoly Gamer is one I should grab for my kids. My son, if he loves Mario, I think you'll instantly get him to the table, and then you won't feel like you're stuck at the table forever playing it. So you could play the game and then do some other stuff. So I recommend it, and my wife likes that game too. Okay, we are near the end. I only have 3 more recommendations for you. Let me do this one right here first. This is one that maybe moms and dads and adults would like too. It's just called Roll For It. It's a simple little box, and all that it has in it are these dice, and they're smaller size dice, but they're nice dice, and then cards. And basically the whole premise of the game is you are going to have these 3 things that are flipped out here, and on your turn you're going to roll your dice and try to get whatever it says on there. So like here, I need 2 5s. So hey, I got that. I got 2 5s. That's a 6, 5, and a 4. I got a 6 and a 4. So I'm going to leave that there. And then on my next turn, I would roll these. So I claim that one, a new card would come out. And then on my next turn, I'd try to roll. Oh, I didn't get that. And then I keep rolling around and around. And you're trying to score like 40 or 50 points, I think. And so it's a really, really simple game. And it's fun because people can beat you to the cards that you're trying to get, and you change pace. So if you like games like Yahtzee, where you're like, oh, I hope that I can roll this exact combination of dice that I want, it's just fun. It plays in maybe 20 minutes at the most, 20, 30 minutes. If you're really struggling to get what you want, 30 minutes. But this is just a fun little simple, no thinking kind of game. Throw this in your backpack, you're bored, you got nothing else to do. Well, that sounds bad. I don't want to, I've got absolutely nothing else to do. But this is just a simple game. The kids get it, and you just like how you kind of place your dice out. It's just a simple little fun game. I don't know how much this is, but it can't be that expensive because of what it is. So maybe pick that up and see if that's something you like. Okay, My Little Cythe is the next one that I want to tell you about. Now, the cool story about this is that there is actually if you're into modern board games, there is a game that is wildly popular called Cythe. And the designer of this game is not the designer of My Little Cythe. So this dad and his daughter, I believe is how the story goes, they designed this. This dad and daughter designed this game based off of the modern heavy board game called Cythe. And so they submitted it to this company, Stonemaier Games, and they licensed it and developed it and sent it out. And so it's a kid's version of a bigger game. And so let me show you what's in the box with this, because your kids will probably love this. It comes in the box with these cool little miniatures. And so you can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people could play this game. That'd be amazing. And they all have these cool little miniatures that come in it. And the components for this game are really, really neat. But it has, I'm not going to take the whole board out for you, but it's got really cool components. And the best part about this game is that your kids are going to feel like they're playing a strategy board game. A lot of times with kids' versions of games, like they basically take a game that you love and then they strip out all of the strategy to try to simplify it for the kids. And I understand that. But as an adult, when you have to sit down and play a game with your kids and you feel like there's not really any strategy to it, I don't know if you play Candyland, before, where all you do is flip over the card and you move to that. Like, the entire game is already decided when you shuffle the deck on Candyland. Like, it's gonna already decided who's gonna win. Well, with Scythe, my little Scythe, you don't feel like that at all, because there is strategy of things that you get to do, and there's different movements that you can do, and how you place things out, and how you win the game. And there's basically 8 different ways that you could get a victory point, and the first person to get 4 trophies wins. And so you're trying to figure out, well, I could do it this way or that way or this way. I wonder what would be the best for me. And so it's just a great little game for kids. I've got a review of this on my YouTube channel, and my son Seth helped me do some of the cool little promo shots for it. And both of my kids love it. It keeps you in the game almost all the way until the very last round. And so even if you think that you've won the game, you got all 4 of your trophies out, somebody could still come along and beat you. And so it makes you feel like you're able to be very strategic in playing a game that is made for kids. And so as a parent, I'm really, really into that. And then the last one I want to tell you about is called Camel Up. Camel Up is a great family game. If you're looking for a game to play, not just with kids, but with adults, this is a game that every time I've brought it to a game night, and I'm not kidding, every time I brought this game to a game night, it is killed. It's been amazing every single time. And the basic idea of the game is that there are these camels that are racing around this track. And let me show you this, because this is cool. You have these. I messed it up. It's got this cool pop-up palm tree. But the basic idea of the game is that you have these camels that are racing around this track, and you are trying to place a bet on which one you think is going to win. And they've got this really cool mechanism in the game where you've got this dice dispenser, kind of like a dice tower, but you basically load it up with all these dice, and then you shake it up, and then you dispense typically one of the dice out, and whatever color dice comes out, that's the camel that gets to move around the board. And so what's really neat about it, I can't really show you, I guess I could, is that these camels stack on top of each other. And so you think you know who's going to win the race, but then a camel ends up getting on top of another one, and then the camel on the bottom ends up going next, and it carries all of these guys with them. And so it's just a fun, you never know what's going to happen. You are 1,000% confident that you know what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen that way. And it is just so much fun. The kids love it, adults love it. This is just a winner of a game. And this components right here are what you get in the box. And this is not a special edition. This is not a collector's edition. This is just exactly the way that you're going to get it. And it is so cool, so nicely made. All of the plastic. You get these little coins in the game, and these are plastic, and they're really nice. This thing is going to hold up and last for a long time. And these really heavy cardboard pieces. I just cannot recommend Camel Up enough if you've got kids or adults, either one. Blake's asking if this is the newer version, and there's an older version of the game that I've actually got. Let me grab that real quick. So you can see some people prefer the older version, the artwork and all of that kind of stuff, but the older version actually has a cardboard dice tower in it instead of the plastic one. And our poor little dice towers just it's like hard to, anyways, it's sad. And so that's why I went for the new version. We love the old version, but the new version is just so nice. And if you like this artwork and this style, I definitely recommend getting this one. But there are 2 versions of the game. So there we go. I've talked for 38 minutes. This is a long live stream. So But I hope that this helps you. I hope that if you have any other questions or comments about these games, put them down there. And I hope that while a lot of us are on quarantine, or if you've got some time off, that you could maybe sometimes, I'm not against video games. I love video games too, but maybe you could turn the video games off for a little bit, sit down with your family and play a board game. I just cannot recommend it enough. The best part about board games to me is that when you're done playing, you have a great story to tell. There's that time I played at Katie and Scott's and we played Camel Up. There's that time I went to Rod's house and we played Just One and we were cheering and screaming. You know, there's these stories that I could tell, and so I'm a little bit of an evangelist here when it comes to board games, but I just can't recommend them enough because it helps me disconnect what's going on out there, and then I can focus and strategize and plan. There's a winner, there's a loser. There's just so much good that comes out of board games, and so I just love them. So, anyways, put any questions or comments that you have down below. If you're watching this later, I would love to answer whatever I can. And I hope that y'all are doing well. Colleen, great. Oh yeah, it's good to see you or talk to you. Thanks for logging on. And I wish that I could have like a little retreat center and everybody could just come and play board games with us. So, but anyways, until I talk to you again, take care and play some good board games.